Listen, I think there's some great players. You said there some fantastic players, and you're right. Probably they could have got more out of them tournaments, but I know it was a golden generation for us. But if you look around the world at some of the other squads, I can fully understand how England didn't win anything. Yeah, they have some of the best players, but if you look at some of these squads, like the French squad, Argentina, Italy, Brazil's squad around that time, I just think they were better players than we had in this country, and unfortunately, that's why we never got anything done. And that's no disrespect to England, because you're right, Rio Ferdinand, Lampard, Gerrard, all superb players. But when you look at some of the squads around the world, even I'd even mention Spain, you just think, I can understand how they didn't win.
There's always a lot made, Darren, isn't there, of the conflict between the teams and the fact that it was segregated and it was very tribal within the teams in the Premier League. Fergie didn't want them socialising, didn't want them being friends with each other, that sort of thing. Do you think there's a lot of truth to that? Because you do hear the players that were involved come out. You know, Rio said that as well.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, certainly the squads that I was in, it was maybe a little bit more separated, a little bit where you had little groups. But when I look at the England team now, they look like they're all together. They kind of interact, and it was a little bit like that. And maybe that did hinder them a little bit in terms of the rivalry between, you're right, the Chelseas, the Arsenals in there, Liverpool's, United's. There was a bit of rivalries. But again, even if you take that aside, you go to the 2006 World Cup and you look at some of the squads. The England squad was brilliant. They had some best players in there. But you look at Brazil's squad, for instance: Dida, Cafu, Lucio, Roberto Carlos, Gilberto, Juninho, Kaká, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Robinho. Do you know what I mean? That's strong in itself. How strong is that? That's a difficult team to beat.
Take that golden generation and put them in the era that we are in now. Would they win a competition?
Mate, listen, again, like, you'd like to say they've got a very good chance again, but you look at some of the teams again around the world. You look at France, up there strong. You'd have to say maybe Brazil, not like the Brazil of this kind of generation, so maybe they're a bit weaker. Belgium, they're strong. Germany, they're always going to be there. I know they struggled, I think it was the last World Cup, but with that calibre of play, you'd have to say they've got a great chance. Because it seems like to me that when we had our golden generation, so did everyone else. Do you know what I mean? They were their best players as well. So, I mean, listen, but as I said, that's no, obviously, disrespect to that England team and that generation, but I just think at the time on the planet, they were better players.
Sven gave you your England debut.
Yep.
What was it like going into that team? What was Sven like?
So my feelings on Sven are a bit mixed.
Yeah,
but
tell us about those feelings.
So, obviously, I was fantastic that he put me in the squad, gave me my debut, but,
Cheers, mate.
but obviously left me behind for the 2006 World Cup. But he seemed genuine enough as a person. I don't remember him ever getting too rattled, if I'm honest. I remember him just being quite calm. He seemed to have the respect to the players. And do you know what? Because he didn't really say much. It's not like he was a Capello who was like, you could tell he was just obviously his management style, and all that stuff. But he was just kind of like quite calm, just let you get on with it and go from there. Maybe he was a bit too relaxed. Do you know what I mean?
Would that be up there with perhaps one of your bigger disappointments in your career, not going to that tournament?
Well, not going to a major tournament would be 100%, especially when you feel like you've done all you can. That season there, I scored 22. Then the 2010, I scored 25. Don't go to another major tournament. It's just one of them where I think after that happened, and then I think it was the next Euros, I get injured. I'd played every qualifier, I get injured, don't make that tournament. It was just one of them where you start going, you know what, it just wasn't written in the stars for me. It wasn't supposed to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way you have to look at it.
Do you always sort of end up holding a grudge for those managers, the likes of Sven, that you feel like held you back?
Not that manager. There's some out there that, I do.
Which ones?
No. But there are some there that I would walk past in the street and not say one word to. But Sven, I wouldn't. At the end of the day, listen, that England manager's job is stressful. It's tough. Do you know what I mean? You see how many managers go bald after 2 weeks in that England job. So for me, any England manager, I wouldn't hold a grudge because I know how tough that can be.
Did you find out that you didn't go to 2006 on Sky Sports News?
See, this, kind of, because I'm pretty sure back then, I know I spoke to Sven on the phone, he phoned me and told me that wasn't going, but I'm not quite sure if beforehand, you know when it's like they're breaking, they're trying to find out who's going to be in, who's going to be out. I'm pretty sure I saw on Sky Sports News saying, we're hearing reports that Jermaine Defoe and Darren Bent have been left, have not been selected. And
so when you got the phone call, you were like,
So I kind of knew it was coming, which is it's quite hard to take, but when it happened the second time, I dealt with it like, okay, well, it's happened again.
Like your girlfriend dumping you over text rather than calling you up. Yeah,
do it to my face. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. But no, he phoned me up and just said, "Oh, listen, you've done very well this season, but I'm not going to take you," and that was it.